But that also kind of segues nicely into a conversation that we had earlier this week. A few times we were kind of talking about this, but we haven't really like shot the shit about it, just the two of us. We talked to Andre Stackhouse, who wrote a great piece this week talking about how he thought that Khanna would make a great pick for Gavin Newsom to replace Kamala Harris in the Senate, whereas Erica, the white trash socialist who we talked to just the other day, she had a different perspective. She was thinking she wanted Barbara Lee to be the Senate pick. She actually said that it would be a fake win for progressives if Khanna won. So we had a little bit of a disagreement about that we talked about. But nonetheless, Barbara Lee would also be an esteemed candidate. I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts on that matter? And also, just to go back away from who do we ideally like, I think both of us have settled on, if it were us, it would be Barbara Lee or probably a little bit more favorably Khanna. But who do you think is likely to get picked? And, do you disagree with that? Would you rather see somebody else?
God, I mean, I think that if Gavin Newsom doesn't pick either Barbara Lee, Khanna, or probably Karen Bass, the three that would be considered kind of like olive branches to the more progressive left flank. And honestly, all three of those are all, they're friendly enough with the establishment that it's not like, it wouldn't be crazy. So I think if he doesn't pick one of those three, it's just going to be such a...
pick Adam Schiff.
Yeah, if he picks someone like Adam Schiff, then that's just going to be a goddamn heartbreaking thing, because this is a real opportunity to get someone in the Senate. Right now we obviously have Ed Markey and Bernie Sanders, but to get someone like Khanna in the Senate would just be incredible. And I'm a big fan of Barbara Lee. I advocated for her to be Joe Biden's vice president. Obviously, the sole vote against the Afghanistan war is one of the most courageous
And we also talked about, she also proposed a Department of Peace back in 2000, I want to say it was like 2004, right in the wake of the Iraq War, which she also opposed.
And as Erica pointed out, she, was one of the co-sponsors of that Bernie bill to defund the Pentagon by 10%. So, I mean, she clearly is definitely on the right page when it comes to a lot of the foreign policy stuff, as is Khanna. As you mentioned, he co-sponsored the resolution to get us to end the Saudi-led genocide in Yemen. So they both have some of the best.
He also tried to get us out of Syria. It just didn't work.
They both have some of the best foreign policy of anyone in the House. So when it comes to foreign policy and, moving the Overton window to the left as far as our imperialist occupations of developing countries and just changing the way people think about our war machine, I think they're two of the best. They're two of the best picks. Ultimately, what it comes down to, and a big reason why I end up on the Khanna side versus the Barbara Lee side, well, two reasons. One being that Khanna was the co-chair of Bernie Sanders' campaign. He was part of the political revolution. He understood the necessity of a Bernie Sanders-like figure to take back over the Democratic Party, whereas Barbara Lee apparently thought that Kamala was the right person to do the job. I mean, I understand being a, person of color from California, I guess that might have had something to do with that calculus. But in my opinion, there was just a very clear, direction that the Democratic Party needed to be taken in. And Khanna understood that. Also, Khanna is a little bit younger. He hasn't been around for in Washington quite as long. He's not quite as
he's a fresher face. He really, like we talked about with Andre Stackhouse, he's only been in Congress since 2017 was when he, officially, had his freshman, term. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I mean, who do you think he will take then? Do you think that, because I'm kind of leaning to the fact that, I was hoping that the whole controversy with the French Laundry, would kind of help this, really scandalize him and make him want to do something, to, drum up some actual popular support. But part of me is also just like, I don't know. I don't fucking trust Gavin Newsom at all. I think he's a piece of shit and a little bit like he's in the pocket of Silicon Valley. And I would definitely think that he would give us somebody like Adam Schiff and be like, look, it's an olive branch to the left. This guy doesn't fucking hate the left. He just.
I think that the fact that it's replacing the seat of Kamala Harris, who is a woman of color, I don't think they'll be able to get away with that.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
If they pick a more centrist-y woman of color, then they totally could get away with it. I just think Adam Schiff is just such a fucking white guy that I don't think that would be kosher necessarily with the California electorate. And as we've talked about before the show, Gavin Newsom himself has plans for the presidency, or at least a higher office of some sort, whether it's some position in the federal government. So I think that knowing that California is a pretty progressive electorate, he might try to throw a bone to the actual left, the Bernie Sanders crowd that, of course, did vote for Sanders in the general election. California obviously voted.
Biden.
No, Bernie. California voted for Bernie on Super Tuesday.
And you said general election. I was thinking the presidential.
I meant the primary. Yeah, I meant the primary on Super Tuesday when California voted for Bernie Sanders, and pretty decent. I think it was 5 to 10 margin of victory. So it wasn't it wasn't close. And honestly, that's part of the reason why Kamala Harris had to drop out when she did, is because she was polling at like third or fourth in her home state of California. So
never stopped Warren, but
yeah, that didn't stop Warren. But yeah, Kamala wasn't down to endure that humiliation, so she dropped obviously a few months before Iowa caucus, and just got to be handed the VP without ever having to actually be voted on by the people. But that aside, I do think that Gavin Newsom will probably pick another person of color to fill the spot. Just obviously Kamala Harris has gone on to represent the all that stuff. So I think that for that reason, I don't think it will be like someone as bland as Adam Schiff. But I'm definitely not convinced that it's going to be Ro Khanna or Barbara Lee either. That's definitely the best case scenario, I think. And to be honest, if it is either of those people, I'm gonna be pretty happy. I think that I'll at least. I mean, obviously, it's like one more senator out of 100. It's not going to change anything necessarily, but it still will be a good thing to have.
A step in the right direction, a voice to be heard. Yeah, I saw this hilarious ass fucking Onion article headline after the French Laundry shit, and it was like Gavin Newsom slammed by liberals for eating at the French Laundry when au télécrème is clearly a superior take on contemporary cuisine.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny how out of touch they are.
For anybody who doesn't know, the French Laundry is like the gold standard of pricey restaurants in America. Gavin and I are both fucking food snobs, but we can't afford to eat at a place like the French Laundry. Literally people wait for months to get into a restaurant like this. $350 per person probably price range before wine. Like you're talking with really expensive dishes. And yeah, Gavin Newsom's in there chilling, no mask in it, with a bunch of health officials while he's forcing all these people to lose their jobs because they can't go out. And I'm not saying that that's not even me taking a position, we shouldn't be closing down, blah, blah. I'm not a fucking scientist, right? But it does look fucking bad when people are suffering and can't afford to pay their bills and can't afford to eat food, and you're out here chowing down on $350 a fucking plate in a pandemic. Oh, by the way, you're not wearing a mask next to a health official that tells everybody else that they have to fucking do this shit. Like, go fuck yourself. It's how everybody's going to feel the next time you run for election. And they're also not going to fucking listen to you anymore.